Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. It's one of those long time no see situations. It seems like forever since I've sat in front of the video to talk to you. It's been almost 3 weeks. I was looking at that. Things have been chaotic and busy, just like usual at this time of year, and making videos. I've had lots of ideas pop into my head, and I got like several tags I need to get done. My goal is to try to get a couple of them done today. I don't know if it'll happen. I'm going to try, though. My wife wants to do some shopping before the snow hits later this week, and just life has been, like I said, busy. We've been in my middle school basketball squad has been having game after game, and in our part of the world, small schools, if you're going to have both a basketball and a wrestling program, which both are, of course, winter sports. If you're going to have both programs, you better have enough kids, because they kind of run at they can run at the same time in the second half of a basketball season. So at our school, we do all our basketball games before Christmas. And so sometimes that kind of takes our schedule and, crunches it. So we get a lot of game, we have a week or two where there's 3 games in 1 week, and it becomes very chaotic. But if we don't do that, and then our kids have to decide which sport they want to do, it usually that hurts both of our sports, because we don't have a ton of kids in our school. We have low numbers, and we want them to be able to participate in both if possible. And so we try to get our basketball done in before Christmas, and then wrestling will take place after Christmas. But I am trying to get basketball season finished up. We got one more game on Monday, and then our season is done. And then Christmas break, we got a half day on Thursday, and then we're off on Christmas break. So just like I said, life's been chaotic, trying to get grades all caught up going into Christmas, trying to help the kids in class, trying to do basketball, trying to do this, trying to do that. And then on top of it, if you can't hear my voice, I have been sick for the last week. I've got the crud in my chest, and it leads to an awful hack. You'll probably hear it sometime during this video, maybe a few times during this video. I'm going to try not to laugh, because that really gets me hacking. But I've had Tuesday, I ended up having to stay home because I just felt absolutely miserable. It wasn't just the chest. Then I had a headache right behind my eyes, right along my forehead's what it felt like, right back there. And, I was going to lay in bed. I was going to try to read, and I opened my book, and I couldn't get my eyes, that when they would try to focus on the words, it put strain, and my head felt like I was getting hit with a sledgehammer. And so I couldn't do that. So I laid in bed literally all day Tuesday, with the exception of about a 10-minute lunch. And then even on top of that, my stomach felt queasy. I felt like my mouth kept watering, like I was wanting to throw up. Never did do that, but it felt like I wanted to. My muscles all ached. My back was a tight knot. It seemed like I'm pretty sure I had the flu, and I had a temperature. So I stayed, and that was the big reason I stayed home, was that temperature part. That was kind of the sign that you're definitely sick. And so anyway, it's been a long week just because I haven't felt real good. And of course, this has been passed around. All the teachers are getting it. I got a big thank you this at the later part of this week for passing it on to everybody. It was kind of funny. It happens, happens every year. That's just the result of being around kids all the time. You get what they've got, but at the same time, in the long run, I end up with an immune system that is like iron, and nothing can get me, as I like to try to claim anyway. But anyway, I haven't made, needless to say, with the busy schedule, just feeling miserable for the last week, I haven't made any videos, and I thought it was time to make a video. And so, without further ado, this is going to be a mail haul from the last 3 weeks. I've gotten a little bit of this and a little bit of that throughout the last 3 weeks from 1, 2, 3. I've had 4 different people send me stuff. And so I wanted to, just share with you what they shared with me. So this first stack of books was a nice surprise. This is from my friend Paul down in St. Louis. He found some fiction books he thought I would like. He went and took a chance and sent me a little stack here. And so let me show what he got. Show you what he got me. So and thank you, by the way, Paul. I really appreciate these packages you've sent me over the last few weeks. These have been just an absolute treat. They've put a smile on my face coming home after a long day at school. So anyway, this one's called Andersonville by Robert Vaughn. It says The Great Untold Story of the Civil War, a world premiere miniseries on TNT. So there's that book. Excuse me. Ooh. Let's see. So this book is from Boulevard Books out of New York, and it is a 1996 book. And it says, in 1864, 33,000 captured Union soldiers were herded into a long stockade where food was scarce, conditions were brutal, and men's character were put to the ultimate test. Josiah Day was one of those men. At the infamous Andersonville prison, captured Union soldiers witnessed both shocking acts of betrayal and inspiring acts of heroism. Based on personal journals and historical records, Andersonville is the story of a nation divided and of men trapped together in a struggle for survival. An unforgettable journey into the most harrowing chapter in our country's history. Andersonville reveals both the trials of war and the power of the human spirit. And so I thought that was going to be probably a pretty good read there. It's right up my alley, a little bit of Civil War stuff. So there's one. The next one that he sent me was by Michael Connolly. And it says it's a Bosch novel, The Black Echo. And it's in that kind of that little bit bigger, paperback style that they've been printing. If you can see that, they've been printing nowadays. And this is a Grand Central Publishing out of New York, and it is from originally 1991, but this is a 2013 book, and this says The Black Echo. For maverick LAPD homicide detective Harry Bosch, the body in the drain pipe at Mulholland Dam is more than another anonymous statistic. This one is personal because the murdered man was a fellow Vietnam tunnel rat who had fought side by side with him in a hellish underground war. Now Bosch, about to relive the horror of Nam, excuse me, from a dangerous maze of blind alleys to a daring criminal heist beneath the city, his survival instincts will once again be tested to their limit. Pitted against enemies inside his own department and forced to make the agonizing choice between justice and vengeance, Bosch goes on the hunt for a killer whose true face will shock him. So that sounds like that'll be, a lot of fun to read. Kind of a thriller here. Here's another thriller. And I've seen the movie here, and I actually once owned the hardback edition. I don't think I do anymore. So this is nice because I've been wanting to read this. I've never actually went through it. And actually all of these first 3 authors I have not read before. So these will be new reading experiences. But this is The Bourne Identity by Robert Ludlum. And you guys probably remember that movie with, of course I'm going to go blank on his name. It's the guy my oldest daughter likes to watch as an actor. Anyway, doesn't matter. Good movie. I'm sure you guys will remind me who it was down in the comments down below. All right, so this is a 1980 book, originally written in 1980. This paperback is from 2016. Let's see here. And of course, Robert Ludlum had a bunch of books out there. And this one, let's see, this is a Bantam book. This says, his memory is a blank. His bullet-ridden body was fished from the Mediterranean Sea. His face has been altered by plastic surgery. A frame of microfilm has been surgically implanted in his hip. Even his name is a mystery. Marked for death, he is racing for survival through a bizarre world of murderous conspirators led by Carlos, the world's most dangerous assassin. Who is Jason Bourne? The answer may kill him. So that'll be fun. I absolutely love those movies. They're a treat. So I'm hoping I'll really like that book. I'm sure I will. All right, so the next one that I'm going to show you, I have read this, but I do not own it, and I have wanted to own these books. I want these in my collection for my mysteries, and this is a Longmire mystery by Craig Johnson. It's the very first one that he wrote, The Cold Dish. Thoroughly enjoyed this, and I've read the first, there's probably 3 or 4 of these books. Can't remember exactly how many I've read, but I started reading these a couple years ago and really enjoyed them. And I would like to pick them back up again for March Mystery Madness and continue the series. I'll have to look up where I was at in the series, but I really liked them. I thought they were really good, really enjoyable reads. I absolutely love the TV series. If you have never watched the whole TV series, it is wonderful. It is great. And I have binged watched that a couple different times. I really enjoy the show. And so anyway, this is from Penguin, and The Cold Dish was from the year, let's see, 2005. And like I said, there's a whole series of these now. We've got them at our local library, but I'm going to probably read them in March is my guess, the actual full books. So this says, after 24 years as sheriff of Wyoming's Absaroka County, Walt Longmire's hopes of finishing out his tenure in peace are dashed when Cody Pritchard is found dead near the Northern Cheyenne Reservation. 2 years earlier, Cody had been one of 4 high school boys given suspended sentences for raping a local Cheyenne girl. Somebody, it would seem, is seeking revenge, and Longmire might be the only thing standing between the 3 remaining boys and a Sharps 45-70 Buffalo rifle. With lifelong friend Henry Standing Bear, Deputy Victoria Moretti, and a cast of characters both tragic and humorous, enough to fill in the vast emptiness of the high plains, Walt Longmire attempts to see that revenge, a dish best served cold, is never served at all. And so I just love his character. I think Craig Johnson did an excellent job with these books. All right, and then I have two more Craig Johnson Longmire books. Now, I don't think these are the full scale. I think these are, let's see, 12 Longmire stories, a Longmire story. So see, I'm not sure because they're different sized books, and I haven't looked it up yet to even see if they're a part of the full scale mysteries, but I'm pretty excited for them. I'll start with this one. This is Wait for Signs, 12 Longmire stories. So these would be short stories. Yeah, 12 of them. These would be short stories, I believe, if I'm understanding that correctly. And I had never seen them in this size book. I always see them in the same size as that other one. But these are from Penguin, 2014. This says, Craig Johnson, straight-talking lawman, Sheriff Walt Longmire, has captured the hearts of readers in 11 best-selling novels in the hit drama series Longmire. Offering glimpses into Walt's past, these 12 stories featuring an off-duty Longmire are by turns hilarious and suspenseful. The sheriff finds himself mistaken for a deity, elbowing into, staring into the ghost of Christmas past, and trapped with an owl in a porta potty. Wait for Signs is a necessary addition to any Longmire fan's shelf and a wonderful way to introduce new readers to the fictional world of Absaroka County, Wyoming. And so that sounds like that's going to be a lot of fun. Something maybe I could just dip in and out of on break and finish it up before Christmas break's over. And then the next one looks like it is a Christmas story. So I thought I could probably read this one. This would be maybe one of my next reads I do before the year's out. Excuse me. Read this in the next week before Christmas. It's Spirit of Steamboat, a Longmire story. It's got a little Christmas hat on there, so I'm assuming it is a Christmas story here. And this one, like I said, I'm not familiar with some of these, so this is going to be good stuff, new stuff for me. From Penguin, and 2013 on this one. It says, Sheriff Walt Longmire is in his office reading A Christmas Carol when he is interrupted by the ghost of Christmas Past, a young woman with a curious scar and more than a few questions about his predecessor, Lucian Connolly. Walt's on his own this Christmas Eve, so he agrees to help her. At the Durant home for assisted living, Lucian is several tumblers into his Pappy Van Winkles and swears he's never clapped eyes on the woman before disappointed. She whispers a word that takes them all back to Christmas Eve, 1988, back to the decrepit World War II bomber and a whiskey-soaked pilot, back to a young girl with the slimmest chance of survival, back to Steamboat. And so I just think I'm going to thoroughly enjoy these. They're pretty short stories. Like this one right here is 146 pages. So I'd be able to easily get this done this week if I, clamp down and get going on it. So looking forward to those. That's the stack. Those first 6, like I said, were from my friend Paul. And Paul, again, thank you so much for sending those. I really appreciate it. And I can't say thank you enough. The next couple books are from everyone's book haul favorite, Peggy, from over at the History Shelf. And she sent me a couple of books that she has showcased on her channel. The first one was one that she had 2 copies of, and she had asked me, she got 2 brand new copies, hardback copies, and asked me if I wanted a copy, one of the copies. And I said, oh yeah, sure, because I love presidential history. So this is A Man of Iron, The Turbulent Life and Improbable Presidency of Grover Cleveland. And I am now having a flashback. I may have showed this already in one of the mail hauls. Now I'm feeling kind of silly. Pretty sure I did. But anyway, she sent me this one. So I'll go kind of fast in this because now I'm 100% sure I've showed this one. So she sent me this one a few weeks back. And then she also sent me Stalingrad, The Fateful Siege, 1942 to 43. And so I was very pleased with that. Could always use some more, military history. So I was real excited about that. It's got some wonderful photos in it. So thank you again to Peggy, since I have just now sunk in that I've already showed these, but hopefully you'll forgive me for my stupidity. The next book is one that this is not from the mail haul. This would be one that I bought at the bookstore or the gift shop at the World War I Museum, because on November 30th, Wednesday, November 30th, I took all my 7th graders to the World War I Museum, and it was so much fun. Those kids absolutely loved it. And, we got home and wrote them some big thank you notes, and I got those off in the mail, and it was just a wonderful experience. My 7th grade class, first of all, is just a really good group. So looking through World War I and we're going through World War II now, and it's been a fun experience with them because they're pretty bright kids, and they're kind of just eating stuff up and asking all kinds of great questions. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We get back to the bookshop. I bought The First World War by Hugh Strachan, and I am not familiar with this author. This is a Penguin book. You can see the nice orange spine on it. This will be an introduction to this author for me. This book came out in 2013. This printing did. And I was asking because I didn't have a lot of time, I asked them in the gift shop, what book are you recommending me to get? and they led me to the middle of the gift shop where the books are anyway, right in the middle of the book area, and they said, well, all of these are bestsellers, and we can't keep them on the shelves, so that would probably be the first ones we would recommend. And this one was in there, and I don't believe I had seen this one before, so I picked it up, and I'm going to be happy to dig into this. It looks like it's got a lot of good stuff. It's got pictures throughout the text to help visualize, which I always like to do, visualize my reading. It's, let's see, how many total pages? 364 pages. So very excited about that. Oh, we got a little visitor here. Looky here. Oh, there you can see her. This is Clover. Yes. Good morning, honey. Good morning. Yes. How are you this morning? Yeah. All right. Go lay down. Go lay down. All right. She's wanting to go outside, I'm sure. She just woke up, but she can wait a couple minutes, I think. So let's go ahead and finish this up so I can get her outside. But anyway, the next two I want to show you is from Ryan over at Book Time with Ryan. And he was giving away some books out of his collection a couple weeks ago. And he basically had gotten doubles and had gotten better editions. And so he was wanting to share the second copy with people. And so the first one and he showcased this he did a book review on this, and then he bought, I believe it was a signed hardback copy, and did kind of an unboxing with that. So go check out those videos on Book Time with Ryan. I'll try to remember to put links to those two particular videos in the description below. Go check those out and give him some love on his channel. But this first one is A Distant Trumpet by Paul Horgan, and he had nothing but great things to say about this book. You can see the fort that is the main topic of the book there. Great painting. I love that. But he had nothing but good things to say about this. It sounded like it's a Western, and I'm just very happy to pick it up. I love a good book, and so a good story. And he said it was a really good story. This is let's see, was it originally? This is a 1991 printing. It looks like 1951 originally, maybe. I see a date for 1951, so it's an older story, but like I said, this is a reprinting, 1991. Nice paperback in really good shape. So thank you so much, Ryan, for this nice present. And it says, A Distant Trumpet, a magnificently sweeping tale of the American West played out in the aftermath of the Civil War, is heroic in scale, rich in dramatic action, with brilliant caricaturization. This epic book offers a three-dimensional pageant of the daring and dangerous frontier life, yet it also depicts memorable individual characters with a rare clarity of detail. 30 years after its original appearance, this immensely popular major work of fiction, over 500,000 copies were printed, is ready to attract, inform, and be embraced by a whole new generation of readers. And that new generation is going to be me, because I'm excited to pick that up. So thank you so much, Ryan, for that generous gift. Excuse me. So here's the other one he sent me. This is the Deadliest Sea. Yeah, Deadliest Sea, The Untold Story Behind the Greatest Rescue in Coast Guard History by Kaylee Thompson. And of course, Ryan was in the Coast Guard, and so this book kind of reaches out and has a place in his heart. He says it's a really good story, and he had mentioned in his video that he had a connection to this somehow. I want to say he said they interviewed him, maybe. Don't quote me on that. I think that's what he said in his video. But there's a connection somehow with Ryan and this story, and I thought that was really cool. So this is, let's see, Harper. Yeah, Harper book out of New York, and 2011 printing. So I'm real excited to pick this up. I think that's going to be a fun, fast-paced read is what it sounds like. says soon after 2 a.m. on Easter morning 2008, the fishing trawler Alaska Ranger began taking on water in the middle of the frigid Bering Sea. Not the place I want to be. While the first mate broadcast mayday calls to the remote Coast Guard station more than 800 miles away, the men on the ship's icy deck scrambled to inflate life rafts and activate beacon lights. By 4:30 a.m., most of the 47 crew members were in the water. Many knew that if they weren't rescued soon, they'd drown or freeze to death. 2 Coast Guard helicopter rescue teams were woken up in the middle of the night to save the crew of the Alaska Ranger. Many of the men thought the mission would be routine. They were wrong. The helicopter teams battled snow squalls, enormous swells, gale force winds as they tried to fulfill one guiding principle: save as many as possible. The Deadliest Sea is a daring and mesmerizing adventure tale that chronicles the power of nature against man. Veteran journalist Kaylee Thompson recounts the harrowing stories of both the rescuers and the rescued, while paying tribute to the courage, tenacity, and skill of the dedicated people who risked their lives for the lives of others. And that is a very honoring, or a career that needs to be honored. Anytime people are willing to risk their lives for others, and so that's definitely going to be an adventure right there. That's going to be, I'm guessing, breathtaking. The reading, breathtaking if you're stuck in the water too. That'd be terrible. I personally can't imagine that would be one of my worst nightmares. Thinking that I have to be able to swim in that deep of water, first of all, and then it's that cold. I hate the cold. Yeah, there's all kinds of bad things going on with that story. So that I would not want to encounter myself. But anyway, that brings me to the last book in the haul. And of all the books in this haul, this one probably has the most meaning to me. This is a special book. This is a book that I've been waiting for about 20 years for. You see, my uncle is a bit of a historian himself, and he absolutely loves studying the Civil War. He's got the Civil War bug, and he did research on his own family, and he found out that one of his great grandfathers fought in the Civil War, and when he got to researching it, he found that his particular unit, the 145th Pennsylvania Volunteer Infantry, they actually fought at the biggest battles in the Civil War. From the point they went in, they were at, all of the major battles. And my uncle went and took all of his diaries and letters and all that. And then as he started researching that, people in his neighborhood found out that he was doing this, and they went up into their attics, and lo and behold, all of the treasure trove of diaries, letters, journals, newspaper clippings, all of that kind of stuff started coming out of the woodwork. It started coming out of everybody's attics and basements and everything else, and they started providing him with this for the 145th Pennsylvania Volunteer Infantry. And he took many trips to Washington, D.C. to do research over the years. And, after many, many, many years of research, he finished his book. And he actually published the first one, oh goodness, was it 10 years ago? I can't even remember how long ago it was. And his second volume, the concluding volume, came out this year. And this just came in the mail this last week. And I am very, very proud to present my uncle, Verrill Salmon, Dr. Verrill Salmon, and Common Men in the War for the Common Man, Book 2. And again, this is the story of the 145th Pennsylvania Volunteers. And as you can see, this is a chunky monkey. It is a big book. This is a doorstop of a book. Even has a little promotional, it's kind of neat, little promotional bookmarks, so that's always neat. My uncle gave me a nice signature in the front of it, signed the book for me. But like I said, this is just came out this year, 2022, and they finally got it through the editors, or through the the editing process and the publisher and all of that. But this thing is a beast, and I am so excited to dip into this year. I don't know exactly when I'm going to start it, but I do plan on reading it this year. It's 1,156 pages, and this is just volume 2. I've read volume 1, absolutely loved it. It was a great look at the lives of the soldiers of the 145th Pennsylvania Volunteers. And the wonderful thing about this is my uncle took the letters of these soldiers, and that's how he tells the story. I mean, he takes his words to tie everything together, but he lets the words of the soldiers do the talking. And this is the common man, not from the general's point of view. For the most part, the officers, they're not left out, but this is really putting a spotlight on private soldiers. And so I am just tickled to death to have this. Thank you, Uncle Verl. I am so excited to get a hold of this and get to reading in this. So let me read the back cover to you, and then I'll read the little blurb on my uncle, so because most of you might not be familiar with him. So this is the rest of the story of the men of the 145th Pennsylvania Volunteer Infantry, or at least those who survived the cleanup at Antietam and the devastation at Fredericksburg, Chancellorsville, and Gettysburg. Letters, diaries, service, pension, and medical records from the National Archives, reminiscences, and historical texts merged to tell the men's stories in one of the most comprehensive regimental histories written. Excuse me. From casualty at Bristow Station to the Bloody Angle to Cold Harbor and Petersburg, the reality of patriotism is enmeshed in disease, death, and prisons, the likes of Andersonville. The soldiers' successes contribute to saving the Union, freeing the enslaved, and improving the blueprint for America's special destiny. This book is going to be awesome, folks. His infantry, or the 145th Pennsylvania Volunteer Infantry, they went through all those major battles, and for it to be family, that just says something. I mean, it gives even more of a connection there. And it says down at the bottom, Dr. Verl Salmon taught high school and college in Erie, Pennsylvania, before serving as the high school administrator in Mentor, Ohio, then returning to Erie, Pennsylvania as an assistant superintendent, and finally the superintendent of Mill Creek Township School District. He currently farms near his hometown of historic Waterford, where the young George Washington ordered the French to leave the British territory in advance of the birth of the United States. Dr. Salmon and his wife, Sandra, that would be my mom's sister, enjoy 4 children who have visited and 7 grandchildren who surely will visit the many points along the sacrificial trail of the regiment and their ancestors. Forever the educator, the author challenges readers to study the great nation's heritage to better guide it into the future. And so, folks, I am tickled to announce this book. And if you get a chance, go out and find this. Support my uncle, I guess. I'm going to do a call for that. Why not? And so looking forward to reading that. And I will give updates on, curiosities in the book, stuff that I find that I really, really enjoy. So, BookTube, I've been rambling for a while, but it's been a while since I've seen you, so I figured I owed you. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope that, you're staying warm. It seems this next week's going to get pretty cold. It's already pretty cold, but it seems like it's going to get even colder. So supposed to get a bit of snow towards Wednesday, Thursday, I believe. So I hope everyone's doing well. Stay warm. Get some stuff read this Christmas break. And until next time, happy reading.